podcasts. In the NFL, the Chiefs and Jaguars battle today. The money line is 480, 360. The Chiefs are 1-7 against the spread. Jacksonville is 1-5, and there's 7 meetings against Kansas City. Kansas City Chiefs offensive juggernaut during the regular season, ranking first with the average of 413 yards and 297. The team exceeds those numbers against Jacksonville as Patrick Mahomes passed for 331 and racked up 486 yards. The Chiefs also led the NFL in scoring, averaging 29 points a game. League-leading touchdown passes, 41, and a career high for Travis Kelce, 12. Running back Jerick McKinnon, who I predicted Jerick McKinnon would have 60 through the air and 80 for Isaiah Pacheco. Lawrence resembled the rookie of throwing first half, throwing 4 interceptions. The Chargers, however, he completed a 23 of 29 in the late second quarter before throwing 3 more second half touchdowns, 3 to Evan Ingram, wideout Zay Jones, and Christian Kirk, who all saw career highs in catches and receiving yards. First season, the Jaguars, which team picked here, Trevor Lawrence is questionable, but I expect him to play. The Chiefs done with Mecole Hardman. He's out and has been for 37 days. The Jags have won 8 out of the last 9 games. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have won, so that puts them on a 10-1 span. Edward Slayer on injured reserve, Travis Jordy Fortson on injury reserve, and Mecole Hardman out. As we repeat that again. Jags in their last. Giants and Eagles. The Giants are peaking at the right time. They're able to blitz less on defense because of healthier defensive line. They also be willing to trust Daniel Jones to do more. The receiving group is established and underrated. The coaching staff is on a roll like short yardage and red zone. They deserve to be here, Lane Johnson and Jalen Hurts said. Meanwhile, the Eagles are stumbling to the finish line. That said, Eagles' ability to win every type of game should be served them well here. They won't need to handle the blitz and the passing situations if they are really in them. Giants and Eagles. Eagles are 2-0. We had a close game in Week 17, 22-16. Kickoff is Saturday at 7:15. Now let's go through college basketball. TCU, whom lost to West Virginia 74-65. Kansas is number 2 and will play TCU, who is 3-3. KU is 5-1 and 16 overall. TCU is 3-3 in Big 12 conference play. Kansas lost to Kansas State last time out. Tip is at 12 for Kansas and TCU. Number 13, Kansas State, whom top of the Big 12 after beating Kansas in the Big 12. Court storming Texas Tech 10-8 in conference play. Texas Tech is first win, even though it seems like it's a long shot. Missouri beat Arkansas in a game by 3, which Missouri did not play their best game, but they came out with the edge of the victory, and that's all that matters, as Mizzou is fighting for a tournament spot and looking like they're in the tournament as of right now. Mizzou will have a tough test against number 6 Alabama. Mizzou has since gone unranked since last week, but are 14-4. And 500 in the SEC, 16-2. Missouri should lose, but you never know. Tip-off is a 5 from Mizzou Arena. We'll go over Bengals and Bills more tomorrow. They are favored by 5.5. The Bills are. Matchup again. At the time the Bills and Bengals game was suspended, the Bengals were up 7-3. And that game would be eventually canceled, obviously. The 49ers will play the Cowboys, perhaps the biggest game of the weekend. Many people favored the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl. 4 is the line. Fox Network, Cowboys, and 49ers have not met this year. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. We'll have some funny videos next.
Look at this. I've never seen that before in
Were you mad at Skip?
No, I just have been really just trying to keep a lot of like negativity out of my space, and with it being around DeMar Hamlin's heart, and me having had some heart issues of my own, it just been kind of staying away from it for a bit.
Well, did you hear what Skip said?
And I did hear that. And I heard Stephen A say something yesterday that kind of helped me understand Skip's perspective. I don't agree with his perspective, but
What Stephen A said?
Stephen A said that Skip comes from a generation where they would keep playing when something like that happened, where we've seen people get carted off the field, we've seen people get paralyzed on the field before, and the game has continued. So that's kind of where Skip's mind was. Again, that's what Stephen A was saying.
Skip, did he agree with him?
No, he didn't agree with him. No, he was just explaining kind of his perspective, which, again, I don't agree with Skip's perspective, and I'm not sure that that's what Skip was saying. He asked, "How can the game continue?" When I read the way I read the tweet was, "How can the game continue, and how are you going to make it up this late in the season?" And he did end the tweet with, the outcome of the game seems totally irrelevant right now. So I think it was an ill-timed tweet. And I think we've all said things at the wrong time before. He definitely said something at the wrong time. I don't think he just doesn't care.
Although he could have took it down.
He could have, but some people just get set in their ways. And I think that's where social media can be bad, because when you read something.
Well, I just know other people switched it to this.
Yes, other people took it. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game, but how? So when I read that objectively, I'm like, you say how. When you say how, it's like, how are you going to do it? Not why, how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. So I heard it as a logistical question, but other people heard it as he doesn't care about this young man. I didn't see that.
What do you think? Do you think Skip, or do you think they should have made up the game or put it back into a weekend?
I think that they should have made up the game. So I think they could have pushed some things back and maybe had like a week between the Super Bowl and a week between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl, as opposed to the 2 weeks. That would allow them to push everything back a week so they could finish that game out, and maybe even start it from 0-0. And that way, that would have seemed the most fair, because now the AFC Championship game could end up being played in Atlanta.